I remember after soccer practice, I walked up to my soccer coach and told her, hey, if I'm being honest, I think I might quit the team. Wait, why would you quit the team? Well, I don't know. It's not really my thing, if I'm being honest with you. You know what? Before you think that, come over to my place. I think I might be able to change your mind. And when I went over to her place that night, I am not even gonna lie to you, what this coach wanted to do was insane. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another really embarrassing story. So today's story all takes place back when I was in high school, and this was my grade 10 year. Now, in grade 10, I was a pretty average dude, other than me being the ultimate player, meaning that I'm not gonna lie, I would always, and I mean always, find ways to pull girls and do the devil's tango. But I remember one time specifically in my grade 10 year, I remember I was just hanging out with my friends, and I remember we all decided to go to the park where there was a soccer field nearby. So as me and my friends were heading over there, I remember it was getting super late at night, and usually I have a curfew that my parents would like me home by, and that was around 10 p.m. But I remember me and my friends, we ended up chilling at the park and going by the soccer field, and we were there till almost 1 in the morning. Now, I won't lie to you guys, it was getting pretty late, and I was noticing that it was getting dark, but I thought it was still like before 10, so I thought I had enough time to get home. But when I finally checked my phone when I was hanging out with my friends, I realized that it was 1 a.m. and I started to worry because I saw that my mom spam called me 7 different times. At that moment, I knew I was going to be in severe trouble when I got home, but not only that, things got a lot worse when I decided to actually finally leave. Because I remember all my friends were about to like disperse and go home, and then out of nowhere, I ended up seeing my dad's car pull up to the parking lot of the field, and he came out saying, Bubba, I know you're here. Where are you? I have your location. Which, I mean, he did have my location. And right away, when he saw me by the soccer field, he ran up to me saying, Bubba, what are you doing here? It's 1 a.m. Why are you just here by yourself? Oh, and as I was stuttering, I remember I looked behind my father and I saw there was a giant sign for the city soccer team. And that's when I looked at him and said, oh, I was signing up for the city soccer team. I thought it would be a good idea to get myself into sports. You signed up for soccer? Well, yeah, you know, all our uncles and aunts play it, so I thought, why not me? That's very good, Baba. Let me see the form. At that moment, I remember I walked over to the kiosk where there was like a bunch of forms for signing up for the city soccer team, and I picked one up with my father, and right as we got home, I ended up signing up for soccer. Yeah, not what I expected, but at the same time, how bad could it be, right? Well, let's just say this story gets a lot worse, because I remember the next day, I ended up handing in the soccer form with my dad to join the team, and he just kept going on and on about how he's so proud of me for doing something other than sit at home and play video games. Which, by the way, let me give you guys some context here. I am actually Persian. If you guys don't know, it's a culture that's down in the Middle East, and basically, I'm not gonna lie, everyone in the Middle East plays soccer. Like, it's like a global game, I understand that, but especially in the Middle East, it's a really big deal. But for my father also being Middle Eastern, let's just say it was a really big deal for me to join soccer team. So when we dropped off the forms and everything, right away, my dad got me cleats, he got me padding, he got me basically everything I needed to become a soccer player, which, to be honest, I did not want to be. At that moment, I was thinking of like 100 different ways to maybe get out of being in the soccer team. And let's just say when it was finally my first day of practice for joining the city soccer team, let's just say things got really, really weird. Because I remember once I got there, I got my cleats on, I have everything ready to start playing soccer. And I remember as I was standing by the field, basically seeing when I should go in there and start playing, I realized that there was a lot of people on that soccer field that were way better than me. Like, so good, in fact, that I really had nothing to compete with. You gotta understand, maybe I'm Persian, but I do not have the soccer playing skills in my blood whatsoever. So I'm just standing on the sidelines, intimidated by what was going on, and right away, out of nowhere, I ended up seeing this woman stand up and stand right beside me. She ends up saying to me, so do you plan on, you know, actually playing anytime soon? Oh, I don't know, if I'm being honest. I don't know. I've never actually, like, you know, played soccer for a team before, so this is kind of weird. What? Are you saying you never played soccer? Oh no, like, I played soccer, like, with my dad and family, but like, you know, in front of like this many people with an actual team, well, that's something I've never done, if I'm being honest with you. I remember I ended up looking to my side, and I ended up seeing that the person that I was talking to, the woman, was the actual soccer coach of the team that I was gonna join. I ended up looking at her saying, oh, wait, you're the coach. Do you want me to start dribbling or, you know, doing stuff with the ball? No, it's all good. Don't worry. We're gonna just get practice started here. Just fall in line with everyone else. I remember that moment, I was super embarrassed because I basically told my coach that I was in no way a soccer player on the first day of practice. But honestly, she didn't seem to mind, and she seemed pretty cool and also really, really hot. That's one thing I should probably say. She was super, super attractive. Like, holy cow, bro. I am not surprised there were so many guys that joined this team because holy smokes, dude. She was a 10 out of 10. But going on with the story, I remember basically practice that day, we ended up learning how to like dribble and stuff. And one thing I started to realize was that the coach was really on my side and always trying to help me out with basically figuring out what to do with the ball. But I want to say things got really weird. I want to say like 1 week later, because even though my parents were super proud of me and basically my mom was super happy that I was playing sports, I'm not gonna lie, I hated it. I knew that soccer wasn't for me in the beginning, and well, I mean, after a week of playing it, it made me realize I still did not want to play. I remember at that point, I decided basically 1 week later to quit the soccer team and basically kind of like give up on it. So what I decided to do was on practice 1 week later, I ended up walking up to the soccer coach and told her, hey coach, if I'm being honest, I don't really want to play soccer anymore. Like, it's not really for me, if you understand what I'm saying. Oh, what? Really? Why? Like, you're doing so good. Yeah, but I think like the only reason I started playing was just not to get in trouble. It's a long story, but if I'm being honest, like, is it cool if I like maybe quit? I remember she looks at me with her eyes wide open and she says to me, okay, Bubba, before you quit the soccer team, do you want to maybe like talk about it back at my place and maybe I can change your mind? I mean, I doubt it, but if you need me to come over, sure. Yeah, I'll have the forms back at my place. So I remember 1 hour later, I ended up going to the soccer coach's house. And when I got to the front of her place, I realized that she actually lived in a pretty decent house. And when I walked up to the front door, I ended up knocking on the door and right away she opened it, except this coach literally just got out of the shower. So she's in a towel just looking at me saying, oh, I just got out of the shower. Here, come on in. And I basically enter her house while she was in a towel still. And I went and sat in the living room. When I sat down in the living room, I looked around the place and I saw that in her living room, she didn't really have any family photos. And by that, I mean, there was no photos of her having kids, no photos of her being married. The only photo she had was her with old people, which my guess were that it was her parents, but who knows? And I remember she finally ended up coming into the living room and she sat down and she was wearing like a really tight outfit. Like her cherries were popping out. And she was like basically talking to me about like how I should be, you know, getting into sports and how soccer is like a worldwide professional game that can really take you far in life. Which, I mean, to be fair, that is true. But to be honest, I, once again, did not really care about soccer. For all those soccer fans watching this video, you gotta understand, it was just not for me. Anyways, I want to say like 10 minutes went by and one thing led to another. We went from talking about soccer to basically my coach's like childhood and how like her parents made her play soccer growing up and how she never had time for boys and all that stuff, which really, I don't know why, seemed really odd that my coach was talking to me about her like trauma, but she was full on trauma dumping me right then and there. At that moment, I started to realize that me and her, we started getting closer and closer on the couch. And yeah, I'd be lying if I said that we didn't make out. We ended up making out, and well, we ended up actually going up to her bedroom and we did the Devil's Tango. The same night, I was planning on quitting the soccer team. Yeah, I guess she really did not want me to leave, but I'm not gonna lie, right after me and her, we did the Devil's Tango. I ended up basically going downstairs to the forms that, you know, basically released me from the soccer team, and I signed it, except, you know, while she was still in the bedroom, basically like laying down, basically super exhausted from what just happened, I just signed the paper and left. I'm not even gonna lie to you, it wasn't even that insane. But all I'm gonna say is that even though I had a really good soccer coach, yeah, soccer wasn't for me. Or is it football? What do you guys call it? Soccer or football? Comment down below and just follow for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.